Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Today I'm at Maple Leisure in Hull, which is in East Yorkshire, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a fantastic motorhome at an excellent price point. I know quite often when I do reviews the value of those motorhomes is quite high, but in this video we're going to be looking at a really well equipped motorhome, brand new for £65,000. Now what I will say is this is actually a 2025 model, and the reason it's such good value is because we're just about to move into 2026. So this is valuable for if you are even in 2027 looking at a new motorhome, look at the previous year because you could get a huge discount such as this. So let's dive into what this motorhome actually is. Now I've actually chosen this one specifically to show you because I think for £65,000 the McLouis Fusion range on 2025 is a stunning motorhome. So let's dive in and find out more about it. Now, it's a long time since I actually reviewed a McLouis, certainly on the McLouis Fusion. It's actually an Italian manufacturer, and for the price you do get a lot for your money, and the interior finish is absolutely stunning. So let's go through the facts and figures. Now as I mentioned, this is actually a 2025 model. For 2026 there are some changes, and I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can take a look and find out what those are. But in the meantime, what do we need to know? So this is the McLouis Fusion 360. In the Fusion range, there's actually 4 different layouts altogether. This has a transverse bed. The other models are island bed, longitudinal bed and rear lounge. 2025 based on Peugeot. You will get a 2.2 litre diesel engine as standard, 140 horsepower and manual transmission. If you want automatic transmission, that is an optional extra at around £3,000. As I say, this one is 65,000. The 2026 models are priced at just over 77, so you can see the saving that you are going to get. In terms of size, so the 360 is 6 metres and 99 centimetres in length, it's 2 metres and 35 centimetres in width, and it's 2 metres and 77 centimetres in height. Now in terms of weight, if you have your B category on your licence, your standard car licence, you can have this motorhome in the standard 3.5 tonne or 3,500 kilo model such as this. It's going to give you a payload of about 590 kilos. There's also an option to have it in the 3.65 tonne or the 4.4 tonne on the heavyweight chassis. You will need the C1 category on your licence if you're going to do that. So those are the all-important facts and figures. So yes, this is a 3.5 tonne motorhome priced at 65,000. Let's start here at the front. So say this one is on the Peugeot cab for 2025. The new 2026 is on Fiat, but you can see the McLouis graphics on the grey cab. Up on the roof there, McLouis, again the logo, a sunroof. And then coming down, you're going to find your colour-coded bumpers here. Let's make our way down the offside before we go around and head inside. So on this one, we have got the Peugeot alloy wheels, the electric operated wing mirrors. They are right-hand drive. And then here we have our water filling point. On board, a 100 litre fresh tank, a 100 litre waste tank. Storage here for 2 11 kilo gas bottles. You also get an extractor fan in the kitchen up there, and then these are the vents for the tower fridge and freezer. Here we have our electric hookup point, and then this is the vent for the onboard heating system. It's the Truma 6E heating system. That's an air-blown system. When you're on electric hookup, you'll plug in, you can run that on electric. Off-grid, it's going to run off gas. So the Truma 6E, which is the more powerful version as well, over the 4. So that's good to see. Then on the offside, there is a garage door. We'll actually see the garage from the other side, but we've got a large garage door, and then the rear end. So on McLouis Fusion, up here we have the rear view camera, and then the graphics, as we can see, the Fusion name, McLouis, and then coming down, we have the retro style lighting as well on 2025. Let's venture this way and just take a look in the garage space. Now, interestingly enough, when I opened this up for myself and looked in, I actually used a little swear word because look at the size of that garage. Now, as you know, obviously I do like a garage because I like to put bikes in here and all my equipment. This is a phenomenal garage. Obviously, always be careful of the rear axle weight, but if you're having this in the 3650 or the 4,400 kilo weight variant, you're going to have a substantial garage to put equipment in. So we can see here the finish, we've got the grey concrete flooring, there is a vent for the air blown heating in here, and then also on the door there's this nice strut, a strong strut holding that door. So let me close that up. But yeah, what a phenomenal garage. So carrying on the near side, there is the toilet cassette point. There's also an aerial up there on the roof that you can probably just see, and the habitation door on the near side. Now that is very unusual for a European motorhome, because normally the habitation door's on the off side, but for the UK market, habitation door here. So if that puts you off buying a European motorhome normally, then this may be the one for you. It's on the UK side. And then on the roof, on the 2025 model with the Lux pack that this has, you will get a 120 watt solar panel. On the new 2026 model, it's gone up to a 200 watt solar panel. So it's just good to know the differences. Let's venture inside and now take a look inside the 360. So opening the habitation door, you will get the concertina blind. There is also a bin here fitted within the door, and there's a fly screen. There is no electric step. You could have that fitted as an optional extra if you wanted. Let's go inside and make a start in here, because I think for 65,000, this is a beautiful motorhome internally. I'll be quite honest, the exterior is not a biggest wow I've ever seen, but in here, which is where you're going to spend most of your time, this is a little bit more wow for 65,000. So let's start at the front. We have on this blinds on the side windows and on the cab. That's part of the Lux pack. We have the the Peugeot steering wheel, our Pioneer infotainment system, and as I say, this one's manual, but automatic is an option. The fabric, we've got the cream leather, the McLouis embossed here. What I will point out is the armrests are all just the standard grey that you would get on the seating, so they don't coordinate. But again, that's offset with the price point. Up here, we can see some storage lockers above the cab and a good sized sunroof. That does open as well. It also has a blind and a fly screen. Then we move into the lounge. So this motorhome, it's 4-berth and it also has 5 travel seats. The forward-facing travel seats also have the Isofix. So this is set up now in lounge mode. So you can see we can fit a good number of people. You could easily seat 6 people in here if you just happen to have some friends coming round. The table is fixed, but it does move. It's in the white gloss finish, and that then coordinates with the cream and brown leather and the quilted finish here. And this is why I like this for the money. It's not fabric, it's got the leather finish, and it is a beautiful finish. So this is our lounge area for when you're actually relaxing. So you can see those seats here. Now, I'll just stand up and we'll start up here. First of all, let's talk about this. We are getting a drop-down bed. This is electrically operated, so this is 2 of the 4 berths. In terms of size, it's 190 centimetres long and 123 centimetres wide. To operate that, there is an electric button just up there. You're going to deploy that bed down, and then as it comes down, it's going to make that double bed for you or your guests. Dropping down under there, you'll see cupboard space. So here we have storage on this side and storage on the off side. Underneath, you have an LED strip light, and there's also 2 USB chargers under there. Because of the drop-down bed, the sacrifice here, and I think the compromise, is the amount of headroom here. I'm 5'4", so it'll just give you a little idea of what the headroom's going to be like. In terms of the seating area, we can see that the fixed table, and I'm just going to make my way down to the flooring. Now, the carpets do come as standard, so you'll get those. And then if I lift that up, we can see the wood effect floor. And this is also on the 2026 model. What I like about the carpet is it has the press studs as well. So these carpets aren't just going to slide around, and they're nicely cut as well. They actually fit the motorhome nicely. So that's the lounge area, really nice. I think the lighting in here is lovely as well, and that leather. I'll step this way. Now, as well as all the lighting in the ceiling, it's also complemented by the mood lighting that runs around various parts of the motorhome. We can see that here, and we can see it here in this framed window. The McLouis name there. You will get the blinds and the fly screens throughout. Let's tackle the kitchen next. So the kitchen is on the off side. Now here, I think this is a good amount of worktop space. You do get a large circular sink. Under here, we have 3 gas burners. It's very standard on European motorhomes not to have an electric plate. So we've got 3 gas burners there. Do you need 3? I often mention that. Not sure. Sometimes I think 2 would be more sufficient and a bit more worktop space, but obviously everyone's different. The extractor fan is here. There's a plug socket there. And then in here, we have a storage cupboard. Now, there is a little bit of intrusion that you can see there. That is from the extractor fan. And then I'll close that down. We've got a light here above the kitchen. And then coming down, we have more storage options here. So in this one, you can see these are a little bit different. If I push that and slide this out, so this is probably going to be used for cutlery potentially, little storage shelf, and then down here, another nice slide out wire basket. And the good thing about that is you're not having to go into the back of the cupboard. You can pull it out and access what you need to get. And then I'll push that back in. Coming along, we then have the Thetford dual gas oven and grill. So you have both in one appliance there. And then underneath the oven and grill, you then have a drop-down storage compartment there as well. And then I'll stand up. And before I move any further back, we'll just talk about the near side as we came in. Here you're going to find the control panels for the McLouis Fusion, the control itself, the Truma, and then we also have a bracket here pre-installed for your television. So you're going to have that here, and the plug socket and the aerial socket is up there. So that's the near side. I'm going to continue back into this further kitchen area. Now these are nice. So these are sort of features you generally wouldn't often see on a motorhome at £65,000. There's a little storage compartment up there, and then you have this slide out, and there's little bars here so you can move those so your tins don't move around. And then in here, another wired basket as well for more items. Yeah, I like that. And then coming along, we have the tower fridge and freezer here on the off side. There's a good storage compartment above it there. It is open. Personally, yeah, I would like to have seen a cupboard fascia there, but it is open. And then 142 litre total capacity of freezer and fridge. Now this is absorption, which means when you're on electric hookup, plug into electric, this is going to run through the electric system. When you're off grid, this is going to run off gas. So that's how that's going to work. And then before we venture further back, I'll just talk about this space here. So again, you can see the white gloss continuing. On the 2026 model, you do still get the white, but on the worktop and the table, they've gone to a grey colour. So there is a change in colour scheme as well. Now this is your wardrobe. So feeding on from the kitchen, we're starting on the bedroom space. And you can see there the rail for hanging items, and it drops down. Underneath, this isn't a storage cupboard. This is where you're going to actually find the Truma, that air blown and hot water system. So that's actually in there, but you can access it. And then continuing along, we've got the transverse bed. Now a transverse bed means it's running across the back of the motorhome. When I talk about longitudinal, it's running down the motorhome, but this is transverse across the back. Good sized double bed back here as well, 207 centimetres long, so good if you're very tall, and 130 centimetres wide, so a good double there. I'll let Jules take you back in there so you can see in there. So coming back, there is some storage under the steps, which I'm going to show you, but then we come back up the staircase and you arrive at that double bed. Now back there is the padded headboard, which actually runs along the back of the wall, so it's more a sideboard, but it is in that leather finish. There's the overhead lockers for the storage, and you can see the windows and the various bits in there, the lighting, the cubby holes, and above the bed, a really good sized sunroof for ventilation and plenty of lighting back there as well. That sunroof will open and you'll have the blind and the fly screen. I'll just swap back over with Jules and show you this storage here. So opening this up, what you will get here is access into the garage that we saw. So if you've got things that you need to reach through and get, you can do that there. Then under the steps, there's storage under both of them. So you can see that. So when it's time to get into bed, you literally clamber up and in you go. You obviously saw the aerial and the television socket in that corner as well, so you can have a TV fitted back here. There's this one window that has the blind and the fly screen. But yeah, a good sized bedroom space. If you don't want transverse bed, because you're not wanting to climb over each other, then McLouis Fusion have those other 3 layouts. So you can have an island bed, longitudinal beds, or a rear lounge. That motorhome is slightly longer. I believe that's 7.5 metres, but I'll put a link in the description. So you do have a choice. Now on the near side, we have our all-in-one washroom, but it's not all-in-one as we know it, because you do have a separate shower space. I like this. I like that it's not just all in one. But McLouis have cleverly combined it. So on the 2025, we've got that chrome shower. There is some intrusion from the wheel arch. That's very standard on motorhomes. And then in there, the shower screen as well. I like that. I'm just going to step inside so we can see the size of that shower with me in it. So in I go. Now in here, there's 2 plug holes in the floor. So even with the intrusion, you can see the amount of floor space. That there, and then somewhere for the soap. You can always put your shower gels as well on there. Up above, ventilation, a light. The switch for that is in here. And then the shower screen that does come across so water's not spraying everywhere else. Now in here, we have a nice oval shaped sink in the white. The chrome tap. The good thing is there's a little mirror there, but there's no cabinet over the sink, so you can get your head right in there. Plenty of space for your toiletries on the shelf. And then under here, this is good as well. There's a toilet roll holder there. So yes, you are going to have to open that to access your toilet roll. I personally would maybe have rather just had that on the wall, but it's in there nonetheless. Cupboard space. Then we have our actual Thetford swivel toilet. The flush is there. The bowl does move about, so you should be able to come in and shut the door, no problem. When you're buying a motorhome, check these things. Make sure you can sit on the loo and close the door, because on the campsites, the time when you probably don't want to find that out when you've already made your purchase. So test these things out. Then there's a mirror. And then the window, which does open. Again, it's nice to see that that's frosted. Some windows end up with clear plastic windows. People can see in. Check these things as well. The overhead cupboard. Now, this is just literally open. It's just a blank plate. I, again, would like to have seen a bar maybe, but we are at £65,000 here. However, at full price, at 77, that's something I would have wanted to see just to hold the toiletries back. But again, these are things that I just like to point out. Little soap dish, and then somewhere to put your toothbrush. And then we have the air vent there and the wooden flooring. So that air vent's going to keep this space lovely and warm, but it's really nice. I like the wood finish in here. I do feel that there is room to use it as a washroom, which is, again, always check these things out. Right, let me dive out. So let me just have a little recap while we're in here of the McLouis Fusion 360. This is just under 7 metres long, 3.5 tonne or 3.65 or 4.4 tonnes if you really want mega payload. Transverse bed, 207 centimetres long, wardrobe space, good sized tower fridge and freezer, good storage in the kitchen space, our kitchen with gas burners, oven and grill. Our lounge area, nice size indeed. The drop down bed if you want to use it as a 4-berth. And then also we have that pre-installation. Right, let's dive out of the door and we'll just have a little summary out here. There we go. Out we go into the cold. The weather's turning now. I've got my body warmer on. Right, so there we have McLouis Fusion 360. As I say, the McFusion range available in 4 different layouts. I will put links in the description to McLouis so you can check out all their models, and also to Maple Leisure, who have let us come and film today. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know. Let me know what you think to this £65,000. I think that's quite a bit of motorhome for the money. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.